"Why must you act so selfishly?" my dad yelled, his face flushing red as he walked around our vacation home's living room at Bear Lake. "Your sibling requires those funds for her startup. You possess plenty already." I remained there, shocked, silent, still holding the tax document I'd been surprised with. What should have been a relaxed Sunday meal became an examination about my lack of contribution. I'm Louise Walsh, age 33, who's created a thriving trading career through self-education. I wasn't wealthy from birth. Everything came through endless. Nights analyzing market trends and taking smart risks. For 5 years, I'd quietly covered property taxes on my parents' getaway, handled my younger sister Megan's auto payments, and sponsored family trips without objection. This was my method of repaying those who raised me, or so I believed. "Father, I've covered everything for years." I finally spoke, my tone steadier than felt. "The taxes, Megan's work travel, Mother's uncovered medical costs. I never requested anything back, but this can't continue indefinitely." My mother remained quiet on the sofa, staring at her clasped hands. She avoided my gaze, which stung worse than Father's yelling. "We provided everything during your childhood," Father went on, completely ignoring my statements. "Now, when we require you, you're deserting us while your sister attempts success." That's when I spotted the envelope on the table, partially concealed beneath a magazine. An official document's edge showed, displaying Trust Fund and Megan TT's Walsh in dark print. My heart sank. I grabbed the envelope before Father could intervene. "Louise, that's confidential," he snapped, but too late. I was scanning the papers, hands shaking as reality emerged in stark legal terms. Father had established a large trust exclusively for Megan, the same father who claimed insufficient funds for my tuition, forcing multiple jobs while studying. The identical father now expecting me to finance their luxurious life while secretly securing my sister's future. "When would you have revealed this?" I whispered, cold understanding washing over me. My entire existence suddenly clarified. The favoritism, different standards, constant demands masked as family duty. I realized everything would change. Father seized the trust documents from me, but damage was complete. The figures burned in my memory. $350,000 reserved for Megan with provisions for future additions, all while being told repeatedly that family finances were strained. "You weren't meant to discover that," he mumbled, folding papers and returning them to the envelope. "Obviously," I responded hollowly. "That explains why you never assisted with my student debt." Growing up, the pattern existed. Megan received dance classes while I focused on studies. She got a vehicle at 16. I rode buses until saving. Enough from my part-time job for a used Honda. College time arrived. Megan attended private university with family support, while I combined scholarships and worked 30 hours weekly at a coffee shop. I'd attributed this to changing finances or different parenting methods. I never wanted to accept what now confronted me. My parents simply valued Megan more. "Darling," my mother finally spoke, her voice gentle in that pleasing manner I recognized as manipulation. "Your sister requires more assistance than you. You've always been independent, capable. We're proud of your achievements alone." The twisted reasoning stole my breath. I was penalized for success while Megan was rewarded for dependence. "All those occasions I requested help," I said slowly, memories returning. "When working 2 jobs during college and barely sleeping, when my car failed and I couldn't afford. Fixes when needing apartment security deposits. You claimed inability to help, but money existed, just designated for Megan." Father shifted awkwardly. "Investment choices aren't simple, Louise. We considered the future." "Just not mine," I replied. I thought about my payments on their behalf over years. Property taxes alone cost $8,700 annually for 5 consecutive years, plus numerous other expenses. I'd even paid $12,000 for roof repairs last summer without complaint, all while they secretly built my sister's nest egg. "Taxes are due next month," Father said, changing subjects as he slid the bill toward me. "The association increased fees again." I stared incredulously. After my discovery, he still expected payment. The audacity was stunning. Something shifted within me, a fundamental recalibration. I'd been fooled, but that ended today. "I'll handle it," I said quietly, taking the bill. Father visibly relaxed, missing the determination in my eyes. The drive to my downtown Salt Lake City apartment was hazy. Snow-capped mountains that usually brought peace seemed to loom accusingly against the darkening sky. I'd been such a fool. Home, I ignored my ringing phone, undoubtedly Father ensuring I wouldn't back out of the tax payment, and opened my laptop. With trembling fingers, I accessed a folder I'd carefully maintained for years, but never expected to need. Financial contributions, family. The spreadsheet revealed thousands of dollars I'd invested in my family's needs. 5 years of tax. Payments, $43,500. Megan's car payments I'd assumed when she claimed poverty, $11,680. The new vacation home roof, $12,000. Medical expenses for mother's knee surgery not covered by insurance, $8,200. Family vacations I'd funded as gifts, $22,400. The total sickened me, $83,100 over 5 years, all while my parents secretly channeled money into my sister's trust. I scrolled through digital copies of checks, transfer receipts, and grateful text messages. Each now felt like evidence of my naivety. My phone pinged with Megan's text. Dad says you're being difficult about taxes. Don't be selfish, Louise. I laughed bitterly. Naturally, she'd support them. She'd benefited from their favoritism her entire life. Another text from Father. We're counting on you for those taxes. Don't disappoint us. No gratitude, no acknowledgement of my contributions, just expectation that I'd continue financing their lifestyle while they built my sister's future. Next morning, I called in sick to my home office and visited Joseph Klein, the financial advisor, who'd helped build my investment portfolio after I started earning serious money 3 years ago. This is quite a list, Joseph said, reviewing my contribution spreadsheet. His eyes widened at the total. And you've never requested repayment? They're family, I said simply. I wanted to help. Joseph removed his glasses and looked at me. Seriously. Louise, your generosity is admirable, but this is unsustainable. You're harming your own financial future while enabling dependence. This isn't healthy for anyone. I know that now, I said quietly. I just discovered they've created a substantial trust for my sister while letting me shoulder these expenses. Joseph's expression darkened. That changes everything. For 2 hours, we developed a plan. I needed documentation, notarized statements of all contributions, formal receipts, complete accounting of everything given. Joseph recommended his colleague, forensic accountant Victor Hernandez, who specialized in financial disputes. Are you certain about this path? Joseph asked as our meeting concluded. Family money conflicts can become very ugly. I considered the trust document, years of being told insufficient funds existed to help me while Megan received everything. The property tax bill Father had pushed across the table with casual expectation, I'd handle it. I'm certain, I said, my voice stronger than it had been in days. It's time they understood exactly what I've contributed all these years and what happens when that contribution stops. Leaving Joseph's office, I felt something I hadn't experienced in years regarding my family power. 1 week after discovering the trust, I sat in Victor Hernandez's office surrounded by paper stacks. The forensic accountant had methodically organized my financial contributions to the Walsh family over 5 years. Your documentation is impressively thorough, Victor noted, sorting bank statements and receipts. Most people don't maintain such detailed records. My day trading background had instilled good record-keeping habits. Every transaction, transfer, expense, all meticulously tracked and categorized. So what's the total damage? I asked, preparing myself for the answer. Victor slid a document across his desk. The final tally exceeded my initial calculations, $118,745. The additional $14,915 comes from interest you've lost by diverting these funds from your investments, he explained, based on your portfolio's performance over this period. That's a conservative estimate. I nodded, feeling strange vindication and grief. The numbers made the betrayal concrete, undeniable. What now? I asked. That depends on your goals, Victor replied. If you're seeking legal restitution, we could build a case, though family financial matters can be complicated without written agreements. If you're simply documenting this for closure or as leverage in family discussions, we can prepare a comprehensive financial statement. The second option, I said, for now. As Victor prepared documentation, my phone buzzed with text messages. Dad, haven't received the tax payment yet. Due date approaching. Megan, Dad says you're being difficult about money after all they've done for you. Really, Louise? I silenced my phone without responding. Let them wonder. 3 days later, I received a notarized financial statement from Victor's office. The document detailed every cent I'd contributed to my family over 5 years, categorized by recipient, purpose, and date. It included lost investment opportunity calculations and a statement from Joseph Klein verifying the analysis legitimacy. That evening, I received my mother's call. Louise, your father is concerned about the property tax payment, she began, her voice carefully modulated to hide tension. The due date is next week. I know when it's due, Mom. Well, will you be handling it? You've always been so reliable about these things. The casual assumption in her voice ignited something within me. 5 years of payments without a single thank you. 5 years of giving while they secretly built my sister's nest egg. Not this time, I said quietly. A long pause. What do you mean? I'm not paying the property taxes anymore, or any other family expenses. But we're counting on you. Her voice had a frantic edge now. The money is already allocated elsewhere. To Megan's trust fund, you mean? The words hung between us. Another long silence. Your father told me you saw that, Louise. You have to understand. I understand perfectly, Mom. I understand that I've contributed nearly $120,000 to this family over 5 years, while you and Dad told me there wasn't enough money to help with my education or housing. I understand that I've been financing your lifestyle while you've been securing Megan's future. That's not fair, she protested weakly. No, it's not, I agreed, and I'm done with it. I ended the call and turned my phone off completely. Knowing the real, storm was yet to come. Father wouldn't take this lying down. He'd always seen my financial support as obligation, not generosity. Next morning, I opened my laptop and made 3 significant changes. First, I canceled the automatic payment for Megan's car. Second, I removed myself as authorized payer on all family accounts. Third, I transferred $120,000 from my brokerage account to a new separate investment fund labeled My Future. For the first time in years, I felt unburdened, the weight of constant family. Financial expectations lifted from my shoulders. The fallout was swift and explosive. By noon, my phone was bombarded with messages. I finally turned it back on during lunch break, watching notifications flood my screen with strange detachment. Megan called 7 times before sending increasingly frantic texts. What the hell, Louise? The bank says my car payment was declined. Are you trying to ruin my credit score? I have plans this weekend. Dad is furious. Fix this now. Father's messages were more direct. Call me immediately. This is unacceptable behavior. You can't just abandon your responsibilities to this family. I ignored them all and focused on my trading day. The markets were volatile, requiring full attention. Only after closing my positions did I listen to the single voicemail Mother had left. Louise, please. Her voice trembled. Your father is beside himself. The property tax notice came with a late fee warning. Megan can't make her car payment. She'll lose her vehicle. We don't understand why you're doing this. Whatever's upset you, we can talk about it. Please call us back. No recognition of the trust fund issue. No acknowledgement of years of my financial support. Just pressure to resume the status quo. I was composing a measured response when my intercom buzzed. The building security guard's voice came through the speaker. Ms. Walsh, your father is here demanding to see you. He's quite insistent. My stomach tightened. Tell him I'm not available. He's saying he won't leave until you come down. I sighed. Then call the police if he refuses to leave. Very well, ma'am. 20 minutes later, I received a text from an unknown number. Thomas just saw Uncle Greg being escorted from your building by security. What's going on? Are you okay? I hadn't spoken to Thomas in months. I texted back, I'm fine. Family financial? Disagreement. His response surprised me. About time you stood up to them. The way they've treated you versus Megan has been wrong for years. I stared at my phone. I'd always assumed no one else in the family noticed the disparity. The validation from Thomas was unexpected and deeply affirming. My doorbell rang at 7 p.m. I checked the peephole to see Megan standing there, arms crossed, foot tapping impatiently. I opened the door but blocked the entrance. "What do you want?" "What do I want?" she repeated incredulously. "I want you to explain why you're suddenly acting like a psycho. My car payment bounced. Dad says you're refusing to pay the taxes on the lake house." "Correct," I said calmly. "Why? What's your problem?" "The problem is that I've contributed almost $120,000 to this family over the last 5 years, while Dad has been secretly funding a trust for you." Megan's expression flickered. First surprise, then guilt, then defensive anger. "That's different," she insisted. "The trust is for my future. I need that security." "And I don't? You've always been the smart one," she said, as if that explained everything. "You've got your fancy trading career. I'm still trying to find my path. At 31, Megan, while I pay your car payments and fund family vacations." She flushed. "You've never complained before?" "Because I didn't know I was being manipulated. I didn't know that while I was draining my accounts to help the family, Dad was funneling money into your trust fund." "It's not that much money," she mumbled. $350,000 is a significant amount." Her eyes widened. "How do you know the exact—" "I saw the document." A beat of silence passed between us. Then, remarkably, Megan tried a different tack. Her expression softened as she reached for my arm. "Look, Louise, I understand you're upset, but we're family. We need your help. Dad says without the tax payment, they might lose the lake house." I stepped back, breaking her contact. "That's not my problem anymore." "You'd let them lose the vacation home where we spent our summers? How can you be so cold?" I looked at my sister, really looked at her, and saw the entitlement that had been cultivated her entire life. She genuinely couldn't comprehend why I would stop financially supporting the family. "They have options," I said. "They could use some of your trust fund." Megan's face hardened. "That's not fair." I smiled sadly. "No, Megan. Nothing about this has been fair." I closed the door gently but firmly in her face. 2 weeks passed. The property tax deadline came and went. I maintained radio silence with my parents and Megan, focusing instead on my work and my own financial planning. Joseph had helped me restructure my investment portfolio now that I wasn't hemorrhaging money to my family. The difference was substantial. I could significantly increase my retirement contributions and even consider buying a small vacation property of my own. My newfound peace was shattered when I received an email from Uncle Pete, my father's brother. "Louise, what's going on with Greg and the lake house? He's asking me for a $10,000 loan to cover property taxes and penalties. Said something about you refusing to help the family anymore. This doesn't sound like you?" I sat staring at the screen, a bitter laugh escaping my lips. So my father was approaching other family members for money rather than touching Megan's sacred trust fund. I carefully composed a reply, attaching a PDF summary of my financial contributions to the family over the past 5 years, along with a brief explanation of the trust fund situation. Uncle Pete's response came within an hour. "Holy hell, Louise. I had no idea. No one did. Greg's been telling everyone how he's struggling to help both his daughters equally. This changes things." The next day, my cousin Thomas called. "Louise, there's something you should know," he said, his voice urgent. "There's a family meeting happening at your parents' house this weekend. Uncle Greg called it to discuss Louise's abandonment of the family. He's trying to rally everyone against you." My stomach tightened. "Thanks for telling me." "There's more," Thomas continued. "I overheard my dad talking to your father. Apparently, they're planning to guilt you into not just resuming payments, but covering all the late fees and penalties, too. They're framing it as you deliberately damaging the family legacy." The audacity was breathtaking. "Are you going to this meeting?" I asked. "Yes, and so are you," Thomas said firmly. "You need to set the record straight. I'll back you up." I agreed, though anxiety gnawed at my stomach. Confronting my father with the extended family present would be challenging, but perhaps necessary. When Saturday arrived, I dressed carefully in a professional black pantsuit that always gave me confidence. During tough negotiations, I drove to my parents' house with the complete financial documentation from Victor, including the notarized statements and calculations of lost investment opportunity. The living room fell silent when I walked in. My father stood by the fireplace, clearly mid-speech. Aunts, uncles, and cousins sat around the room, their expressions a mix of confusion and concern. Megan sat beside our mother on the sofa, both looking uncomfortable. "Louise," my father recovered quickly, "I'm glad you decided to join us. We were just discussing the family vacation home situation." "I'm sure you were," I replied evenly, setting my briefcase on the coffee table. "And I'm sure you provided everyone with all the relevant financial information?" His eyes narrowed. "We're discussing your refusal to meet family obligations." "Interesting," I opened my briefcase, "because I have 5 years of financial records showing over $118,000 in family obligations I've already met. Money that apparently wasn't available to help with my education or housing, but was somehow available for Megan's trust fund." A ripple of murmurs spread through the room. My Aunt Catherine, always direct, spoke up. "What trust fund?" I looked at my father, giving him the opportunity to answer. When he remained silent, I passed copies of the summary document to everyone in the room. For the past 5 years, I've paid the property taxes on the lake house, covered Megan's car payments, funded family vacations, and more, totaling nearly $120,000. During the same period, my parents established a $350,000 trust fund exclusively. For my sister, the room erupted in overlapping voices. My father's face flushed deep red. "These are private family matters," he thundered. "Exactly," Uncle Pete interjected, standing up. "Family matters, and in this family, we should treat our children equally." I hadn't expected this level of support. As the room divided into heated discussions, my father's gaze locked with mine. In his eyes, I saw something I'd never witnessed before. Fear. The fear of exposure, of his carefully constructed narrative crumbling. And behind that fear, something even more unexpected. Respect. The family meeting ended with my father storming out, and my mother tearfully following him. Megan sat frozen on the couch, avoiding eye contact with everyone. The rest of the family lingered, processing the revelations. "I had no idea it was this bad," Aunt Catherine said, studying the financial documentation. "Greg always portrayed you as the successful one who didn't need help." Uncle Pete shook his head. "This isn't right. The lake house has been part of our extended family memories for years. If you've been paying those taxes all this time, you should have some ownership stake." I hadn't considered this angle. The vacation property was titled solely in my parents' names despite my significant financial investment in it. "I don't want the house," I explained. "I just want them to recognize the unfairness of the situation." Thomas placed a hand on my shoulder. "Recognition isn't enough, Louise. There should be consequences." 3 days after the family meeting, my phone lit up with a text from my father. No apology, no acknowledgement of wrongdoing, just 4 words. "The property taxes are due." I stared at the message, incredulous at his audacity. After everything that had been revealed, he was still treating me like his personal ATM. That evening, I received an unexpected call from my mother. "Louise," her voice was hesitant, "your father isn't handling this well. The lake house means everything to him." "More than treating his daughters equally?" I asked. Her silence was telling. "Mom, I've contributed nearly $120,000 to this family. Dad created a $350,000 trust fund for Megan without ever offering me similar support. The disparity is glaring." "I know," she admitted quietly. "I've always known it wasn't right, but your father makes the financial decisions." "I understand," I finished for her, "but this is where it stops." The next morning, I texted my father, back with a single attachment, a photograph of the complete notarized financial record of my contributions over the past 5 years, with the total circled in red. No message was necessary. The documentation spoke for itself. An hour after sending the photo, my phone rang. I expected my father's angry voice, but instead heard Megan's. "Louise," she sounded shaken. "Dad just showed me all the documentation you sent. Is it really that much? Over $118,000? "Yes, it is," I confirmed. "Every penny documented and verified by a forensic accountant." There was a long pause. "I had no idea," she said finally. "Dad always told me you were helping a little here and there because you had extra money. He never said you were covering major expenses while he was building my trust fund." Her voice cracked on the last words. For the first time, I heard genuine remorse from my sister. Louise, I don't know what to say. I feel terrible. It's not entirely your fault, I conceded. Dad created the situation. But I benefited from it, she said, and I never questioned it. I just assumed I deserved the help. Another long pause followed. Then Megan surprised me. I'm going to fix this, she declared. It's not right. Before I could ask what she meant, she hung up. The next day, I received formal documentation from my father's attorney. The property taxes on the lake house had been paid in full, along with a legally binding amendment to the ownership. I now owned a 25% stake in the property. Attached was a note from the lawyer explaining that Megan had insisted on using funds from her trust to cover the taxes and legal fees for the ownership transfer. My phone buzzed with a text from my father. This wasn't necessary. Family helps family. I didn't respond. His message revealed that he still didn't understand, or refused to acknowledge, the fundamental unfairness of his actions. Minutes later, another text arrived, this one from my mother. Your father is struggling with this, but I want you to know I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. I should have done the same years ago. That evening, Megan called again. I've asked Dad to split the trust fund equally between us, she said. He refused at first, but Uncle Pete and Aunt Catherine backed me up. He's meeting with his financial advisor tomorrow to make the arrangements. I felt a weight lifting, not because of the money itself, but because of what it represented. Acknowledgement, fairness, respect. Thank you, Megan, I said sincerely. No, she replied. Thank you for finally making us face the truth.